Hi, welcome back to Student Teaching with Riri. This is going to be week 4 and 5 combined because week 5 was a 3-day week, which actually was a 2-day week for me. And also the week before that I didn't make a video because my microphone broke. I had my students use the microphones for their projects, their English projects that they're doing, if they wanted to interview students or staff or whatever. And I came back on Friday and I took my mic system home to make a video. However, when I opened it, the receiver end, so there's this end and then there's the receiver end, that end was broken. So that day I ordered another mic system, and this was last Monday. However, it never came. Something in transit. And it was Monday, so this has to cancel it again. On yesterday. So that happened, and then I was sick all week. You might be able to hear it in my voice still. So I couldn't even really make a video even if I wanted to last week. But yeah, we're here. This is going to be probably a short video because 2 weeks ago feels like eons at this point. So I'm just going to summarize what happened the 2 weeks ago, and I will do my best based on what I've written down. So I'm glad I write things down, and we'll go from there. Cool. So the week of February 9th, it is February 23rd right now. Not much happened. I finished the kite runner, I think, the week before that. So that week I started lesson planning, or just like looking up stuff, seeing what my teacher had, still visiting my other teacher's classroom who's doing the kite runner right now. And I made a couple graphic organizers, which was really fun. I used the printer for the first time and the copier machine, and I felt like, I don't know, how to make 50 copies of something. That was just kind of fun. And the copier had a hole punching system too, so like that was just cool. Technology. So basically that week was just a bunch of prep. I was late on Thursday. I don't even know what happened, but I was late, and it was okay. My teacher told me that he had a little heart-to-heart with the kids because he was just telling them, like, hey, Miss Carr is teaching next week, like, play along, make her feel welcomed. I know you guys have been getting to know her for the past 3 weeks, but she's obviously nervous, and she wants to do her best, so just be the good students that you are. And apparently all the kids were like, yeah, of course, like, we'll be nice and play school and just be pretty kind about it, and they have been. So I was pretty thankful that he said that because, I don't know, they've seen me for 3 weeks straight, and I think that we're getting along pretty well and I can talk to them. But it's nice to hear that when I'm not there. So I guess being a little late was okay. This was probably the bigger thing that I was excited about that week. Okay, there's a student in our 10th grade classroom who was very grabby towards another particular student, and it's not in a mean way, but it's just in a very annoying, like, you're in my personal bubble way. But this other student won't say anything to this student, so it's just like he's visibly uncomfortable, but this grabby student doesn't care. So I had to be like, hey, stop touching him. Like, let's just keep our hands to ourselves. And he did listen for like 30 seconds, and then he went back, and then I had to be like extra stern, and I was like, I'm not gonna ask you again, like, stop touching him. And then he sat down in his seat. So minor win. This is like the smallest win ever, but I felt a little like responsible. Like, hey, you listened, and I don't know, that kind of felt good. I was still nice about it, I think, but it was a little scary, but it was a little satisfying. But it was still just like, are we still like, we're not friends, but I want you to still like me as an adult figure in your life. I don't know, it was just a little overwhelming, but it was obviously fine in the end because we're not friends, and that's something that I need to get over anyway. In another situation, on Friday they have this like all-day school like basketball tournament, and my teacher asked me to go down with them during like the second period, just because, one, I haven't ever seen it, and two, like, we were taking turns taking the students down while one of us stays back for the students that don't want to go to this tournament thing, and that was really fun. even though like one, I didn't know where the basketball court was, but I just followed like the many flock of teenage boys going down. And two, I got to be stern again, which is pretty cool for someone that is like who doesn't yell and hates conflict and is not confrontational at all. It was cool. So by the end of their game, they were supposed to head back to class, and I had a round up 15-ish high school boys in a room full of high school boys and girls. It was fine. I was like, all right, we have to head back. And they're like, no, Miss Carr, like, please, like, can we stay? And I was like, no, we have to head back to class. And, they, even when they weren't being mean about it, like, they're just being kids. Yeah, I don't know. They listened for the most part. Like, they all came back when I asked them to. And I don't know. I just feel like lesson number 6 is it's okay to be stern. And you're still going to be liked. Like, I don't think I was being the bad guy. I was just doing my job. And I think they kind of recognize that too. So this is a nice transition into week 5. Alright, cool. So they had off on Monday for President's Day. And on Tuesday, they had an in-service day, which my teacher said, don't come in, because it's going to be boring, and I don't want you to be afraid of this profession quite yet. So I was like, sure thing, I will gladly not come in. I was sick anyway, because I was gonna go in to set up like some, like, see how the laptop's connected to my projector and all that, whatever. Anyway, Wednesday was the first day of the kite runner, which was really exciting. I introduced the book, I introduced the author. I was super congested. I had a minor headache. I had to wear a mask. I didn't want to get the kids sick. Despite all of that, I was okay. I am proud for rallying through this that Wednesday morning. I left after the second period because I was done for the 11th graders that day. They're in the first 2 periods, and then lunch 3rd, 4th is 10th grade. Actually, no, whatever. Anyway, I was done for the day. So I left, and I went home, and it was exhausting. But Thursday, I did not go in because I somehow got worse. I don't know, this cold is like not leaving. It's really frustrating. And I was kind of bummed about that because we were talking about the historical context of the kite runner. Luckily, I had all my slides ready. And lesson number 1 again, be flexible, because I'm really glad that my teacher was there to do the slides for me. And I felt bad because I'm like, I already missed 1 day of the book that I'm teaching. This is the first time I'm teaching ever. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really nervous about Wednesday, like, at all. Like, I was more excited, and I felt a little awkward, more than anything. Maybe awkward more than nervous, but it was really fun. And so Friday, I went in for 2 periods again. I felt better, but I got to school early because we were doing, if you've read The Kite Runner, you might understand this. If you don't, it's okay. It doesn't really matter, but I made a giant line that says pure good, pure evil. And they've only read like 7 chapters at this point, so I included characters like Hassan, Amir, Raheem, Asaf, and Baba, and I had them write a sentence as to why and where they would place them on the line of pure good versus pure evil, and find 1 to 2 quotes that back up why you put them there. That was a really fun activity. I will insert somewhere on the screen what their results were. And between the 2 periods, like, they were pretty similar, which I thought was interesting too. And their responses were great. Like, I was walking around, doing formative assessments, just listening to what their reasoning was. I looked at their documents afterwards, and it was just so good. Like, I was just so proud of them, that they, like, got it. And, unbeknownst to them, they're 1, finding quotes for their graphic organizers, and 2, like, writing topic sentences and analyzing quotes, and that's going to help them for their paper later. So I'm just really happy that went really well. And we're going to look at this continuum again, like, after chapter 7. If you know, you know. and then we'll look at it again later on in the story, and then at the end of the story. So it's going to be cool to see how, characters move across this line based on the decisions they make, the thoughts they have, and all of that. Yeah, I don't know, I was just super satisfied with how that went. I didn't know how it was going to go, because this is the first time I am doing this, so it's cool. We did have a minor mishap. A student was crying, like, early in the morning, and I didn't know that they were crying until, like, 5 minutes later, and I was like, "Are you okay?" And they were like, "Miss Carr, like, you're asking us to find 80 quotes. Like, I calculated how many quotes we need to look for." And the character sheet that I gave them said 10 plus quotes, and then the other sheet that I gave them said 3 to 7 quotes for each category. And I was just like, well, first of all, I did not calculate that, and that is a lot of quotes. And secondly, like, we can work on this together. We can, like, reduce the amount of quotes you need to find. And then she was like, still tears coming down her face, like, no, I don't want a special treatment. Like, I'll do it, but it's just a lot. And I was like, is this one of those things where it's like you feel overwhelmed and you just want to let it out and you'll be okay afterwards? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay. But still, like, if you want to talk, like, we can talk about it. But they were fine after that. Like, we were all laughing and hanging out, and they were hanging out with their friends and working in the groups, and it was great. But it had me thinking, like, I didn't realize that I was asking for a lot of quotes. And I feel like what I'm gonna do now, I'm not gonna change the assignment, I don't think, but I'm gonna have more opportunities for more collaboration in finding quotes. For example, the assignment that they did on Friday, they did it in 5-6-ish different groups on a document between those 5 people. But what my professor used to do was she used to take some of our quotes from our, like, exams and put them on the board and, like, highlight them. They can use a chance to write some of these quotes down in their graphic organizer. So hopefully that'll alleviate some anxiety. So I really want to move forward thinking about how my lessons might impact how they're feeling, because a lot of these kids are perfectionists and high achieving and really want to do well. So I want them to feel like they can do it and not feel overwhelmed doing it. Plus, I'm also learning, and I think they totally get that, because this one student that was crying, both on Wednesday and Friday, was like, "Great job today, Miss K." And then on Friday, they were like, "Great first week, Miss Carr." And I was like, "Thank you. I really appreciate that." It felt like a great week, even though I was there for 2 weeks. It was a great first 2 days of formally teaching ever in my history of teaching high school English classes, and I am very excited to keep going. I feel like I say this every week, but it's only true. And I can't wait to lesson plan today for the rest of the week. I'm getting observed on Thursday, so I am actually nervous and excited at the same time. So I will let you know how it goes. Bye!